Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and I'm going to give you my first impression review of a new futuristic FPS on PC called Ironsight. It's very much a Black Ops Call of Duty clone, but really designed around being free-to-play and on the PC. It's got some give and take here and there with the Call of Duty formula and some things I think you're going to really appreciate, maybe some things you might miss, but overall, I think it's a game to look forward to. So right out of the gate, spoiler alert, I'm going to give it a thumbs up, and that's why I'm actually continuing on and probably going to do a full review whenever the game releases. Okay, so a little bit of a disclaimer, the game isn't out yet, some things can change. I will be critiquing the game critically, but, you know, there's hope that it will actually evolve and change and get better with time. I can be cynical sometimes, but I think with Ironsight, the developers are looking to make a really solid shooter. So the things that I say make it unsolid, yeah, I think they're gonna be better. I think they're gonna improve. And honestly, comparing to the competitors, already doing pretty fine. So yeah, I'm pretty hype about it. So hope you guys are too, and if you're not fully convinced, I don't know, let's go on with the rest of the review. Again, just first impressions, but played it for a few dozen hours. Hopefully, the gameplay is exemplary enough for you guys. But alright, boys, let's get them boots on the ground. Let's check out Ironsight. Okay, so I think the first thing that we should probably talk about is just the audio visuals, like just what it looks like, what it sounds like. Is it a AAA quality game? And I think immediately from the gameplay, you might be able to tell that visually, yeah, it's some good stuff. But in terms of audio, what I can say as a game, even when I just had my really horrible earbuds in because my headset broke, or if I was just playing on the monitor, I actually heard things with really good clarity, and I think probably very good accuracy. Steps and gunshots, I was able to tell the direction, pretty much the distance, stuff like that. It felt really good, and in a lot of games that hasn't always been the case, especially in betas or something like that. But with this game, yeah, it worked really well, and that's something that you really want in a game just like this, where hiding around a corner can be so impactful, you know, just listening to how everyone's moving around. It is a corridor shooter, so, you know, knowing if they're in the next corridor, quite a big importance. And I just wanted to mention that, but the overall quality, the oomph, the punch, the uniquity, the sound design isn't like Battlefield, okay? It's not quite that. However, for a free-to-play shooter, really just accuracy is all we can ask for, and frankly, the quality is really decent enough. And some guns, I actually really like the sound of, so I appreciate this game. Its quality is probably AA, I think so, overall, but in terms of mechanically, like, does it play, does it work great? Yeah, I think it's actually competitively viable when it comes to audio visuals. It runs great, my FPS was fantastic overall, everything just looked right, everything had a clear design, the maps also had a really nice flow, something that, you know, competitors like Lawbreakers freaking can't say. It just all runs, looks, and sounds very freaking playable. So, what exactly are we playing? Like I said in the intro, and some previous videos, and on stream, it's a COD clone. And it really, really is that. Just that. It is just a Call of Duty Black Ops clone game, but done really, really well. These guys have like all the customization options, the same type of weapons, very similar map design. There's some slight twists and turns here and there, and we can kind of dive through that. But basically, that's the gameplay loop that you're going to have an experience. There's some little twists and turns, such as some of the perks are, you know, just like a little bit balanced, but like it's literally the same perks. You will have something similar to Commando, but, you know, kind of nerfed, not as ridiculous. You're not like Supermaning people across the map or anything like that. And you have a lot of the weapons that are just fine-tuned just a little bit. The map design and the spawn system, all that, it's very, very similar, though this game does have that twist where a lot of the maps, if not every map, has some sort of moving component. I think there's only one map that doesn't have a moving component. So like there's a missile map that has like missile launchers that go off in the middle. Not too different from Black Ops, but this one actually has a turning platform. Then there's the ship map where a ship actually changes the map and the way it flows whenever it runs through it. Super weird stuff. I really appreciate that. So it's like these little tiny details. I mean, yes, overall, it's a clone. Maybe lacks some originality and aesthetic design, all of it. But if you really wanted to play a COD-like game, but like legitimate on PC, this is the title, because these guys took it seriously. They take those small little details seriously, and the purity of the concept of what COD should have meant, you know, from like the original Modern Warfare or even the Black Ops, and then, oh, they exported it to PC. Being an online game and it's a free-to-play game, is it going to be pay to win? Is it really grindy? You know, are there overpowered weapons? I did notice that like maybe assault rifles are really strong because of the map design overall, but that's really not too different from other shooters in the genre, and especially Call of Duty. Sniper rifles, or maybe like most of the guns and stuff, are really situational, but that's kind of the point, is you're supposed to make classes, make your builds, and in this game you have that customization, and it is really good customization, and it's not pay to win. It seems like it's really easy to jump in with the monetization, actually. So like the grind, I know I'm leveling, and this is a first impressions, but overall I'm getting stuff that I want when I want it. I can just rent it if I need to, and the leveling seems very comparable to like the console Call of Duties, the game you pay $60 for that you still have to kind of grind through a little bit as like a tutorial stage. This title has that too, you know, level up to level 5 with a SMG or whatever, and then you get the sights you can put onto it, and then next up, next up. So you do actually have sight modifications, then you have like other modifications, like you can change the rifling a little bit, you can change some other like things on the bottom, or you know, like different stocks, but overall, it's not the customization like Blacklight Retribution or a game like Loadout, nothing as insane like that. It's very, very similar to Call of Duty. But when it comes to the whole free-to-play and how that plays into it, yeah, no, it's totally fine, actually. Just feels like a normal Call of Duty. It does have some weird extra things, like you can rent guns. You can also, like when you buy a gun, you have a repair thing. But overall, from what I'm seeing, just like normal gameplay, it just kind of works. Until we find out that some gun is extremely overpowered and it's something you have to grind for a lot, or it's super expensive. Regardless, I think overall, it's really, really fair. For my first impressions, I can't say it's pay to win, and I'm really having a good time with it. But now, aside from some kind of gimmicky weapons and some very situational weapons, which is going to be the case in any sort of, you know, loadout / class-based shooter, everything felt pretty good. I mean, even the weird stuff like the crossbow made sense, I thought. It just, like, it worked in some situations, and I really enjoyed it when they did. You know, like, just blind fire a crossbow and get a headshot or something. Pretty cool stuff. I don't know. It's good stuff. But in the end, the thing that's going to make these guns feel good or bad, and I could just tell you, like, you know, audio visually and the feedback in terms of, I guess, the recoil and stuff like that. I could go into detail of that stuff, and it's good. It's very similar to Call of Duty. It's fine. But the thing that's kind of a little bit going to pervert this feeling of goodness is going to be the netcode. Now, this is something that I have refunded games for. Destiny, refunded. Warframe, I feel really iffy about. There's a lot of games where I would just straight up, I won't play if the netcode is bad. A little give take, but this game, the netcode is more giveth. And shooting feels good. The gunplay feels good. The fights can feel good. But being a run and gun game where there's so much chaos, there's so many different kinds of guns, so many different kind of people doing all sorts of different kind of things all over the place all the time, there's often gonna be some weird stuff where you get killed around corners. A lot. You will kill each other. Often, you know, if you go like 2 people around a corner at the same time, you'll kill each other at the same time frequently. This is something that I think will be addressed, will be fixed. Battle Nonsense video, he's a YouTuber that specifically covers the netcode of games, said that, you know, it's a pretty good one. You know, the shooting actually feels good, the proactive aiming feels good, but it doesn't feel good to get hit a lot, you know, going around corners, things like that. You will be shot. And because it's ping-based, if you have a poor ping, you can still shoot somebody on your screen, even though on their screen they're not. Now, it's not peer-to-peer, which is amazing, fantastic. That's not something that you could choose in Call of Duty, so just straight up having servers is great. However, there's not servers everywhere. I believe that if you are in Russia, you know, something like that, it's not going to be that great. Maybe India. I know there's some in Australia, and of course in North America and Europe, but overall, it's not completely covering the globe. So again, your experience may vary depending on where you are, but I'm finding it much more enjoyable than base Call of Duty, especially the ones on PC, which I do have access to. It's just like I don't want to play them because they don't feel good. As cool as the weapons can look audio-visually in those games, and in this game, what really matters is, you know, that netcode and does it run well. In this game, it's okay. It's passable for now. But it needs to be better. That is one thing. It needs to be a little bit better when it comes to, who would imagine, a game about running and gunning. Yeah, you know, getting hit around corners doesn't feel so good. So that is something that should be addressed, but it's open beta, and I do actually have faith that it will be improved upon because I do feel how solid the shooter can be. I didn't see any uproarious teleporting of anybody anywhere, anything like that. It's just kind of small little subtle things that really a hardcore player like me, that's gonna impact me, I think. And since these people who are making this game are obviously like hardcore Call of Duty fans and they seem to be like repairing the concept of what Call of Duty should be, well, that's one direction to aim in, and I do think that they will go in that direction and actually fulfill that. So that's the dream, but of course, first impressions, the reality is right now, the netcode needs to be improved. It's not game breaking, but it is not perfect. And I think lastly, all I really need to mention is the overall selection of kill streaks, the weapons. Actually, the weapons are pretty good, but the overall variety of things to do in the game, I think is just a little bit lower than what we'd expect from a release of Call of Duty. I think like there's just a lot of mirroring weapons, like a lot of very similar assault rifles, a lot of similar sniper rifles, you know, things like that, which you would expect in Battlefield or Call of Duty regardless. But in a game like this, I just want a little bit more. I mean, always I want more, like absolutely, but I do want a little bit more when it comes to the weird gadgets and stuff like that, the weird attachments, the weird stuff like that. I want that in my game. So to really customize my gameplay. Also, there's not many maps. So basically, this is kind of a complaint that there's not all that I want in the game, but it's also a first impression review and it's open beta. So the game isn't fully released and it's a free-to-play game. So even if it was full release, we could always look forward to new content, which is what I want in the game. And I really only want that because I am having fun. I am understanding the small little intricacies of each weapon, right? Like the different shotguns, how they feel. Sure, fine. So one shoots slow, one might shoot faster. Okay, but no, if you're actually somebody who really plays a lot of FPSs, especially something like CSGO, you know, like the way a gun fires, its, you know, recoil patterns and how it spreads out, all the little tiny stats and things, you like that kind of stuff. And then bringing that to Call of Duty, which is about creating your own class and, you know, modifying the weapons and looking at all the stats and changing it to play the way you want to and do the things you want to, or maybe even challenge yourself with a bunch of weird gimmicky things. I don't know. You can do so much and feel so much in these kind of games, and I just want more of those things. I'm not saying the game is overall really lacking. I'm just saying that I'm having fun with what is in the game, that it should have more. Though the map selection, I can totally say, yeah, there's barely any maps. And what I've seen of the maps so far, I know they can be good. Every map has been fun, every map has been good, has had a cool little gimmick or thing there, and I actually really like the game modes too that complement all of this too. I want to see more of it, obviously, of course, but overall, it's been fun stuff. Now, being a first impressions, I can't actually go over every little detail, every single gun, every single kill streak, or anything like that. But what I can say is that immediately, as a free-to-play player, I had access to a lot of different play styles. I was very easily able to get into the real game, though. I saw, you know, I had like the Zeus cannon out there I was playing and like the chopper gunner thing. You know, I used UAV, counter UAV. I saw a lot of different kill streaks. I saw a lot of different weapons and play styles, and I went against that as well. So it really felt like instantaneously, yo, I was playing a real game. Where in a lot of these free-to-play games, especially shooters, it just feels like you're kind of playing a portion of the game and you're watching everyone else maybe really play. And you just kind of look at them in awe like, oh man, I can't wait till I get that really cool freaking tank. Man, that would be awesome if I could just play with that. In this game, it's pretty immediate. It's pretty quick. I'm not saying the game is completely grind-free or anything like that. Neither was the base Call of Duties. But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you get some cool stuff. You can have a good time immediately and instantaneously, which is why I want to recommend this game to anybody everywhere, basically. I want to say, hey, you should try this game out. And I know it's probably going to get a bad name in some ways because it's a COD clone. Now, as somebody who hates clones, basically, you know how I feel about Paladins, and I really tout originality more than anything. I'm saying that in the space that this game exists in, free-to-play PC, Call of Duty-like, dude, this is actually a really good game. It's special, and I think it could get better and better. And I've seen some way wonkier games have competitive tournaments, so if you only play like these pseudo-competitive games with the chance of maybe it being an esport or having competitions and tournaments and, you know, joining teams and guilds, I think this game could do that. Now, I haven't touched the ranked mode or anything like that. I haven't seen the ranking, and I haven't done like super in-depth, you know, balance, you know, mathematician formulaic stuff. I haven't, okay? But what I can say for first impressions is I am impressed. As somebody who is hardly impressed by games like this, I am. So there's a lot of details you might want to know about the game, but I think it's really best to leave that to you, my friends. Jump into Ironsight. I think you'll be impressed. So guys, that's it for the first impressions. I think covered everything that needed to be covered. I'm sure there's a lot of little fine details that people want to compliment over in the comments, like that weird game mode with the AI, so it's like PvEVP, and you know, some of the guns. What's your favorite gun? Stuff like that. I'm sure you guys are going to shout that out in the comments below, because this game is worth shouting out. All the little details that make it good, or if there's a problem you have with the game, I'm sure people are going to say, yeah, the netcode needs to be improved. Please do say it in the comments below. The more people, the more voices, then it gives, you know, the people who are coming into this video a little bit more fuel for the fire to play it or to choose to avoid it. You guys are also part of the review. Thanks so much, friends and family. Hope you guys do have fun regardless and keep that hype alive. My name's Skylent, and I'll see you again next time.